Good morning. I'm John Ellsworth with Success Strategies. I'm the founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage. And today's presentation is entitled, What to Do When the Sky is Falling. I want to tell you a story about a recent bank meeting I had with a client of mine who we frankly went into this meeting pretty excited. We'd made some very positive change in their reproduction program on this dairy. Their pregnancy rate had reached an all-time high of 30%. They were milking 85 pounds per cow per day, and we frankly were just pretty excited to almost hit the 10-gallon average. Their efficiency measures in the operation as far as cows per hour and cows per man had improved substantially, and their inventory, even after the last 4 years, as difficult and as tight as the finances of dairies have been, was in pretty good shape. The loan to value on feed was less than 100%, and the loan to value on the herd was in the low 60s, 62%. So we were really excited. But suddenly, upon entering this bank meeting, we were sort of surprised to hear that literally the sky is falling. And I had to ask myself, really? We all know that 2015 through 2018 were difficult years for every dairy. Even those of the dairies that were profitable at all during that time period, it was difficult. It was a lot harder than usual. And everyone's financial ratios in the dairy industry could have been better today had we seen better results the last 4 years. But it was clear to me that this operation, this particular client, was moving forward. After doing some research, and this may come as a surprise to you, but I challenged their numbers directly because I had done my homework and I was prepared for this meeting. In fact, I was excited about going to the meeting until I got hit with the sky is falling line. But it turns out there were numerous assets were left off the balance sheet of the client on the part of the lender. And that impacted a couple things. It definitely impacted their working capital because if you leave current assets off the balance sheet that should be there, you will definitely impact the working capital, which is current assets minus current liabilities, in a negative way. And that was unfortunate. Also, we noted that the land values hadn't been updated for over 10 years. Well, they are in an area where land values have really risen the last 10 to 20 years. And the interesting thing is we'd even done some development on this property, making it more valuable than ever before. So amazingly, when we got the right real estate values, fair market value real estate values on the balance sheet of the bank, their debt to equity position was better. Much better. In fact, it was better than the target that the bank was looking for. So we also looked at, based upon their cash flow, projected cash flows for 2019, the amount of milk that we have contracted and the prices we have contracted at, and the feed contracts we have in place, their projected debt service coverage is pretty nice. It's actually about 1.36 right now, and I think that's good by any bank's measure. So why did I tell you all this stuff about the sky is falling, or maybe it's not falling, as I challenge them? I think there's a lesson here, and I want to tell you that there's 5 things that I want to point out. Number 1, the first lesson is always do your homework. It's important that you're prepared for meetings like this, because can you imagine the impact this meeting would have had upon this client had we not been well prepared? I never enter a meeting like this without being well prepared. This lender should have known better than to think they'd catch me asleep at the wheel, because that just doesn't happen. Number 2, be prepared in a sense that you know your stuff, because no lender should be expected to understand the intricacies of daily operations and milk specifics, managerial specifics within your operation. So you need to be prepared and know your stuff. Things we wouldn't expect any lender to necessarily know, so that we can share that positive information with them. Or, in the case of some negative things, the challenges we might be facing, and so they can help us deal with that. Number 3, Do not, I repeat, do not accept everything at face value. I had to basically interrupt the pattern of the meeting by saying, gentlemen, the sky is not falling. It would have crushed us for the last 4 years had it truly been falling. So the point is, don't accept everything at face value. Number 4, I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse, but I would suggest over-prepare if necessary, but especially in anticipation of potential exaggeration. That was hard to get off my tongue. But especially in response to potential exaggeration of things. And the dairy industry has had a lot of negative press about its results the last few years, and that's unfortunate. But you know what? We're on a springboard back to profitability, and I think we need to face that for what it is, make sure we're staying on track. But if we need to over-prepare for these meetings, I highly recommend you do so. And my 5th point is, this may be for the lenders. The bank's personnel should have been better prepared. This loan renewal, which is now going forward in a positive manner, it could have gone much better, could have been a much smoother process. And frankly, I say this sort of jokingly, they wouldn't have looked like the warehouse worker who was leaning on a broom and someone came up to him and they said, "How long you worked here?" And he said, "Ever since they threatened to fire me." So I say that jokingly, but I think the message for today, when you hear that the sky is falling, the key is to always, always, always be prepared as fully as possible. Thank you for listening today. Again, I'm John Ellsworth, founder of Success Strategies Incorporated and the creator of the Success Strategies Advantage. And again, I thank you for listening. Thank you very much.